So you're thinking about buying a home, and maybe this is going to be your first home, maybe this is going to be your 10th home, but you're wondering, okay, what are the closing costs going to be? Now, the closing costs are going to be similar no matter what the purchase price is, but there are going to be variances all throughout it. So let's kind of jump into that. Now, I know the majority of the time you want to keep as much money in your pockets as you can, but this is a home. It's going to be one of your biggest purchases. So you're going to have to lose some of that money or invest some of that money. So the first thing that we want to talk about is going to be the lawyer fee. Now, no matter what, when you're closing a home, you're going to need a lawyer. And what the lawyer's job is throughout the process is to make sure that everything that you have agreed upon, whether that's going to be the purchase price, maybe some things that the people are going to be leaving behind, to make sure that everything that you've agreed upon and it happens in that contract goes through and gets fulfilled. That's going to be anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. You might pay up to $2,500, but you're going to be getting some great service if you're getting $2,500. If you're working with us at the Compass team, our in-house lawyers, they're able to get you a great preferred rate. Probably not going to find anything better than that in the city. So yeah, it's going to be somewhere between $1,000 to $1,500, maybe up to $2,000. And there's something called disbursements. Now, these are going to be kind of similar to lawyer fees, but it depends on what the purchase price is and how much work the lawyers have to do throughout the whole entire process. The next thing to keep in mind is going to be land transfer tax. Now, land transfer tax is something you're going to have to pay no matter what. But if you're living in Toronto, if you're buying in Toronto, that land transfer tax is going to be charged twice. So keep that in mind when you're buying in Toronto. The reason being, it's because everyone wants to live in Toronto. Toronto needs to have higher tax, and that's just one of the ways that the government is going to be making money. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you're not going to have to pay that land transfer tax twice. But if you're not a first-time home buyer, for sure you're going to have to pay that. And the way the first-time home buyer doesn't have to pay that is you're going to get rebates. The other thing when it comes to land transfer tax, deciding how much it is you're going to have to pay, that is going to vary depending on how much the house or how much the property it costs that you're going to buy, and depending on where it's going to be, if it's inside of Toronto or if it's outside of Toronto. The third thing, and probably the most important thing, where the majority of the money is going to go, it's going to go to the bank, because you're going to be putting down, let's say, anywhere between 5 to 20%. You can go even higher than that if you want. First-time home buyer, you can put down as low as 5%. And as you go over 500,000, that number is going to go higher. Anything over $1 million, the minimum that you can put down is going to be 20%. So if you're working with the RBC, CIBC, the bigger banks, normally you're not going to have to pay a broker fee. But if you're working with private lenders, there's almost always going to be a broker fee. So these are kind of the top costs that you need to think about when coming to closing. If you do have any other questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. My name is Bawanka with the Compass team and Royal LePage Signature. If you see the link in the description below, you can always click that, set up a time, a discovery call, get to know each other and things like that. But these are the closing fees that you're going to have to think about. If you do have any questions, always feel free to reach out, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.